Breaking news into the First Things First newsroom, which is Adam Schefter's Twitter feed that our producer read. 4 years, $212 million deal for Tua, keeps him in Miami. This puts him behind Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, but ahead of Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Lamar, and Jalen Hurts. Nick, I was surprised by this deal because there was always this health concerns. Are they committed to Tua?
Yeah.
Did this take you by surprise?
Yeah, I think it's a mistake. And I really like Mike McDaniel. I think he's very sharp. And I have graded him on a curve, which is look at everything he's doing with a, to me, obviously limited quarterback. He now has seemingly signed off and advocated, because we know the owner's not in love with Tua. The owner tampered with Tom Brady to try to replace Tua, tried to go get Deshaun Watson, try to replace Tua.
Now maybe fell in love with him.
Maybe
he's giving him $200 million.
If he did, I would imagine it wouldn't be because it would be in part because Mike McDaniel's vouching for him. The reason I say all that is the curve is now removed. You have now signed off on this guy is a force multiplier. This guy is not, a bus rider. He is a bus driver. Okay. I don't think he is. And so I would have, if I were the Dolphins, I would have, Tua, are you really going to miss games? Is that what you're going to do? I would have had him play out this year. If he plays well, say, I know it's a crummy business, man, probably going to franchise tag you while we figure out what we're going to do at the quarterback position. Like that, I wouldn't tie myself to Tua at north of $50 million a year. The Dolphins have. I think there's a ceiling on their team with him as the quarterback. I think that, and that's even if every game's in 80 degrees balmy. Mm-hmm. And so it's not surprising. I thought it was going to happen, but I think it's a mistake.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because sometimes when things work, not necessarily because of just one individual, but because of the addition of others, you try to hold on to it. And that's what this is. Like, if Tyreek Hill isn't here, if McDaniel isn't here, like, this deal doesn't get done. Tua, I don't even think we're talking about it. But when he got Tyreek Hill and he partnered and paired his talents and ability with his head coach, it makes it work. And it actually puts them in a position to where they are a very competitive and a contender and have been the last few years. So for me, I don't mind it. He is not one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. But with his coach, with the way he calls games, with how he gets rid of the ball, with the scheme, with the weapons around him, you're talking about him like he is at portions throughout the season. So for me, it's inevitable he was going to get paid.
So I guess, but with what you're just, when you say with the weapons, with the coach, with the system, does that not then, doesn't the logic follow that they can get someone else to do that much cheaper? And then make sure you keep those weapons or use those resources to help your defense or your offensive line, which you lost pieces of over the course of the year. Go ahead, Greg.
No. Okay. You could, but I'm gonna tell you why they wouldn't. Because you know who's at Dolphins practices almost every single day? You know what quarterback is there almost every single day? Dan Marino.
Yeah.
You know what they haven't had since Dan Marino's left?
Any success.
Any type of success.
Playoff win.
And you know what they are experiencing? Some forms of success.
A little.
It's more than what they have. So when you feel like you have a chance, and if you can now get a playoff game at home versus in the bitter cold in Kansas City against the best quarterback doing it.
But they would have. They had that. That's my point. They had it all in front of them, and they fell apart again.
Did Tua fall apart, or did they fall apart?
No. We watched those games. The end of this year,
it was Tua.
No. It was absolutely in part Tua. They were not scoring 70 points. They were not high flying. They were not rolling. And absolutely part of it was Tua played his worst football against his best opponents at the end of the season, and looked like he wanted nothing to do with that playoff game. Nothing to do with it.
He can't play well in the cold.
You can't be an NFL quarterback.
Well, give him another shot at it.
Hold on, what is it?
I want to have Tua's going to. The Dolphins will win the AFC East. Okay, that's where predictions week coming up. The Dolphins will win the AFC East. Tua led the league in passing. I think he has throws for the most yards this year? Probably not. But I like the fact that the Dolphins are committed to him. If they do come up short, I feel like Mike McDaniel will start to have to shoulder some of this.
That's what I said.
Some of this blame, not necessarily all Tua. And the reason why I think that you just always want to switch these quarterbacks out, if it doesn't work, then if I'm sitting back as the GM, like, hold on. We're paying Tyreek Hill $30 million. We're paying Jalen Waddle $28 million. And they are dependent positions. So we decided to go cheap on the quarterback. And now we're wasting $60 million of our receivers because we don't have a guy who can get them the ball.
All right, okay, a couple things. First of all, I want to amend something I said. When I said then he can't be an NFL quarterback, that was not about Tua specifically. The point I was trying to say there is, because it sounded harsher than I wanted it to, is if flatly you can't play football in the cold, then you're not going to be a successful NFL quarterback.
I know Bruce not here to take a shot.
No.
But the guy played the best defense in the eventual Super Bowl champions, the active GOAT in the most hostile environment in the entire NFL. Yeah. And guess what? He didn't play well.
No,
and it was freezing.
But the week before, he played a Bills defense that was...
The Bills are good, too.
Wait, hold. You got to beat the good teams.
Okay, well, not everybody can beat the good teams.
Right, but hold on a second.
You just need to be in the mix. They haven't been in the mix since I was a little boy. Now they're in the mix.
No, but so hold on. Let me address all of it, if I may. First of all, you're giving them the AFC East, but then saying, but it's no problem, you can't beat the Bills. I'm telling you right now.
Beat the Bills this year.
Why? Why will it be different? Why will it be different?
Because I believe in the Dolphins' offensive weapons, and I don't believe in the Bills' defense this year.
I hate to sound like this guy, but you got to start somewhere. Not everyone hits the jackpot and gets Patrick Mahomes
but it's not about Patrick Mahomes.
Of the franchise.
It's not about Patrick Mahomes. It is about, we have seen so many teams, Wilds, do exactly what you said would be crazy for the Dolphins to do, which is have awesome receivers, a young quarterback, and it works. The Eagles have done it multiple times with multiple quarterbacks. The Texans are trying to do it right now. The Seahawks did it with Russ. We go up and down the Bengals. Now, Burrow, I think, is excellent, but receivers, quarterback on a rookie contract. We see that that's not about hitting the jackpot. The Texans with Deshaun Watson. It is about there are not a lot of instances of we have an awesome team, like a bunch of elite weapons, and we are just sunk with a young quarterback. It happens occasionally. It doesn't happen a lot. So I just think this is a error NFL teams make consistently, which is they make a quarterback look a little better than he actually is because he's cheap and they can overspend on the luxury items. It's like, well, we've got our quarterback. We now have to pay him. They then pay him. They lose the luxury items. They're like, what happened to our team? I know what happened to the team. And so the excuse of it's hard to beat the good teams, I agree. But that's what the contenders do. Tua's problem is not what the Bills' problem is. Patrick Mahomes beats us every year. It's that our biggest competition in our division, the Bills, beat us every year. Not to mention this year when we finally despite losing the Bills, got to the playoffs, then the Chiefs beat us.
But do we think the Bills are going for it this year or kind of resetting this year?
I think the Bills are better than the Dolphins.
But I think
this year?
I think the Bills are weaker than they were last year, right?
I don't think the Bills are weaker than they were when they played the Dolphins in the final week of the season with the playoffs on the line.
Oh, I do.
When they had all the guys they lost, a lot of them were injured in that game already. Diggs might as well not have been on that team already. They still can't beat them.
I like the Dolphins going for it. What do you think, fellow Dolphin?
I like the Dolphins.
Should bring your Dolphins jersey here.
I should. Fins
up. Hold on. I don't know if we have to break or if we have more time here.
Go ahead.
Greg, do you think it is realistic that Tua will in this contract be a top 5 quarterback in the AFC, top 5 in his own conference, do you think that's realistic? If it's not,
I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair. I really believe that that's unfair because if we go off statistics, we're gonna slide it because if we're going off statistics,
then he already is.
He already is.
If we can't do wins, then what are we going to do?
No, it's an opinion question.
I'm just saying the guy led the league, and he led the league, and he threw for the most yards.
Right.
So if I say, hey, do you think 2 years ago, I'm like, do you think Tua, coming off of his concussion concerns, can lead the league in passing? We'd all be like, no way.
No, but again, that you guys, I'm being painted like I'm a bad guy here. If I were to ask you right now, Wilds, list quarterbacks in the AFC in order. You can use any metric you want. It is the Kevin Wilds rankings.
Yeah.
You would say Patrick Mahomes 1. In the AFC.
Yes.
Number 2, you would have Lamar. Number 3, you would have
a healthy Joe Burrow. If he can stay out and play more than 10 games.
Number 4, you would have the possible options are CJ or Herbert or Tua.
No, it's a jammed up. This is why top 10 should move.
Hold on, we haven't even said Josh Allen.
What? Oh, you haven't even said Josh Allen.
I didn't say Josh Allen.
Okay, so number 4 would be who?
I'm probably putting Tua in there.
Ahead of Josh Allen. No, you're not. You can't even say it.
Probably put CJ in there.
Oh, and Josh and CJ. So there's 5. So that's my point. I don't care. Like, it's not about Nick's opinion. Even his biggest defenders think, oh, yeah, in his own conference, he probably is never going to be better than those 5 guys. Then you shouldn't spend this money and tie yourself.
So you're going to have him be the 12th best guy? You want to go get a rookie? Get just the Tulane quarterback?
I either want to give myself a chance to get someone who I think can definitively be on that list.
Who's that? Who is that person?
So this is why
who's better than Lamar Jackson?
This is why this is unfair because if we're comparing Tua to the ability of all these other guys, we're never going to put Tua. We're never.
What are you going to
do? Individually. But when we put Tua with what he has, and you put Lamar with what he has, you have the opportunity to say, I like Tua.
But that's my point. But with this contract, he won't be able to have what he has. That's my point. And you're saying,
but he has it right now.
Where do you get these guys? The same place every team got them. The NFL draft. And they're very cheap for 5 years, like Tua was.
Okay, then just draft Lamar Jackson 2.0.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.